One of the quintessential ingredients for success is a local champion to drive the HEARTSafe process. Anyone can serve as a HEARTSafe community champion. Examples may include a sudden cardiac arrest survivor, an Eagle Scout, a local politician, somebody from the school department, a public safety official, even the family of someone who has died prematurely from sudden cardiac arrest.
We're here to let you know about our son Larry, who passed away in 2007 from a sudden cardiac arrest. He was only 15 years old and he was an athlete. He was playing 3 different sports. During the summertime, several towns in the area would sponsor fun runs for the kids at Mohegan Park right here in Norwich. Halfway through this 3-mile race, he collapsed right in front of us. So CPR was started. The only thing that was missing was there was no AED that was there. The ambulance was called, 911 was called. Unfortunately, by the time they got there, quite a bit of time had passed by, and even though CPR was going on, by the time the ambulance had arrived, and they did put their AED on Larry, he was in ventricular fibrillation.
As a result of our son's death, we founded a foundation. We call it the Larry Pompriant Athletic Safety Fund. And through this fund, we've been able to provide AEDs for towns in southeastern Connecticut. We try to target schools, their athletic fields, teams, different teams that were interested in being able to have AEDs along with their trainers. And through that, we've been able to place about over 60 AEDs in southeastern Connecticut.
I got involved in the HEARTSafe program to make a difference in my community. It started as a Eagle project for the Boy Scouts, and it turned into this bigger project which ended up benefiting the community greatly. My project consisted of placing AEDs in schools and public buildings around town and teaching CPR and AED classes. The funding from the AEDs primarily came from the Emil Zach Fund out of the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving. They were very generous in granting me $18,000 to spend on the project, which included 12 AEDs, which were distributed to public vehicles and school buildings. I feel great about helping contribute to making Suffield a HEARTSafe community. I'm 19 years old, and I've made, what in my opinion, a huge impact on this community and on this town. That the impact is so significant that it could help save someone's life.
I was home with my 2 boys and one of their friends. I've been told I went downstairs to make dinner, and my boys were upstairs. They heard a thud. They came downstairs, and I was out on the floor. One of my sons ran to the phone and called 911. And while he was on the phone, my other son called my neighbor, who was an RN, and she ran to the house and started performing CPR on me. And she continued to do that until the local fire department and the EMTs came in. They needed to defibrillate me, and I'm told twice to get my heart going. In the years since, I have been involved with a few friends and local community members. We have formed Thompson Community of Heart. We've been able to raise funds to place 11 defibrillators throughout our town. They are in the local schools, in our town hall, library community center, the athletic fields. All of our ambulances have them in the town of Thompson. We also raise funds for CPR training for anyone in our community who would like to learn it.
This really is a community program. This brings people together. This brings people together within the emergency medical services. This brings people in from the town hall. This brings students and educators with the regional school system. This brings churches together. This brings friends together. This brings family together. But more importantly, it's a community that's working together.
Businesses have the responsibility of having an effective emergency response plan that often includes CPR and first aid education and AEDs. Businesses are also challenged today in that they're all facing hard economic times and critical decisions. However, when we look at the cost to the community of a premature sudden death, and we translate that into the workplace, whether that's a senior, talented employee, a board member, or a customer, we've truly put a high value on human life as appropriate, and therefore businesses should feel compelled to be well prepared for medical and injury emergencies such as sudden cardiac arrest.
I've been playing golf up here for approximately 20 years now, and I woke up that morning. We had a rather early starting time. I arrived here at Tunxus and got out of the parking lot and came walking in and got my cart and drove down to the putting green. And my partner that day said, "Tom, how much longer do we have before we tee off?" And I said, "We have 7 minutes." I got out of the cart, I started walking towards the putting green, and that's the last thing I remember.
We were in the pro shop. I remember Tom coming in to see us, and I thought he was, because I've known him for a number of years, I thought he was agitated. He just didn't look himself that morning. And the next thing I know, I have Angelo yelling to me, "Kath, come now." At that point, we ran down steps, and I could see a person laying on the putting green, blue from the neck up, and I knew immediately that we had, a life-threatening situation right at that point.
Instinctively, we grabbed the AED, started CPR right away. We hooked up the AED, and it took 3 times to shock him, but we brought him back, and Tom is still playing golf. In promoting the AEDs, once you get trained, they are, if I may use the term, idiot-proof. You can't overshock somebody. You can't hurt them. The machine talks to you. It tells you everything. It tells you when to do compressions even. And the nice thing about it is once you attach the pads onto the person, it's recording everything that's going on in his body. Pressures, heartbeats, the rhythm, what it's doing. So it helps actually the doctors, when you go back to the hospital, they can download all that information. People shouldn't be afraid, to help people. Because of, litigations and lawsuits that people are very afraid of trying to help others, there's that Good Samaritan law now that's out there, and if you are certified in CPR, it covers you.
I think there's a lot of myth that's out there about the liability factors, and I think a lot of people don't understand that, well, if I have that unit in my building, then I'm held liable. You're not. Do the research, look at the statutes, look at the laws that are out there. And by having workers trained and other people throughout the community, it's a benefit to you. It's a benefit to the community. It's a benefit to your business.
Heart-safe workplaces are extremely important. Some of the things that people don't realize is when you go, and this is from the paramedic firefighter side of me, when you call 911, there's a delay for us to get there. There's what's called a response time. It could be 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. That's to the front door. You get some of these facilities where it could take us another 5 to 10 minutes to get to the actual patient just because of the layout of the building. If nothing is done before we get there, the chances of this person's survival are slim and none. If you have coworkers that are trained, that can respond and do the right thing, the outcomes are significantly better. In the prevention side of it, a little bit of education goes a long way. When people sit through a class and they learn what the potential hazards are and what the things can be done to potentially save a coworker, they know that in the back of their mind, and they start working towards those things, and they start getting other people that work with them involved in it and paying attention to it. Programs like this usually turn into a wellness type program. You'll see, Weight Watchers programs starting when they come along with it, exercise and fitness programs that tie into them. And it's a good community builder. If you know the person next to you has the potential to save your life, you're a little bit nicer with that person.
I'm a chef. Usually I work the day shift, but a co-worker was on vacation, so I ended up doing her shift, which was the overnight, the 11 to 7. Prior to start my shift, I went in the men's room, and on my way out of the men's room, I just fell in the hallway. And a co-worker heard when I fell, and they came out and saw that I wasn't breathing, and they started performing CPR on me. About 6 months before my incident, they installed an AED in the hallway, which saved my life, and I'm grateful for that. So it's really important. If it wasn't for that AED in the hallway, heaven knows what would happen. But I think it's important that in the public places, we do have that AED available.